everybody? Welcome back to the SoCal Tram. I'm Matt.
And I'm Caesar.
And today, before we get into this fancy looking little fun bottle, we just want to say, if you're new here, hey, thanks for checking out the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out. And if you are a return viewer, we appreciate you guys so much for sticking around. Nonetheless, everybody hit the like button. Also, don't forget to ring the little bell. That way you know whenever we drop a brand new video. Kind of sporadic these days. But, Caesar, what do we got on the bar today?
Today, we got another gold mine from your bar.
That's right, folks. I'm not going to say I forgot I had this bottle, but it was hidden from me. And nonetheless, guys, it's our turn to get at it. You know it. You probably love it if you've been lucky enough to try it. Today, we got high class for this ass. It's Johnnie Walker Blue Label Blended Scotch Whisky. Let's hit it. So folks, Johnnie Walker Blue Label. That's right. You know it, you've heard of it, you've probably had a glass of it, and if you haven't, is it worth the money? That's going to be what we're going to try to figure out today. We are by no means anywhere near the first people to ever touch this bottle in reviews. This is one of those like movie type bottles. This is a status bottle. If you have a bottle of Johnnie Walker Blue, people like look at it and go, oh man, like that's really something. Or, you know, if you give it as a gift, people are like, oh man, like they really love me. Like you're important to that person. But we're going to try to get into this and tell you, is it worth the $200 plus price tag? I will say that this was a gift from my wife. However, I was there when she got it for me. She knows that I'd been wanting it. I've had it on the bar for a while. As you can tell, it's only just past the shoulder with these pours today. So I don't hit it all that often, but not because I'm afraid to hit it, but just because I have a lot of other whiskey. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. Before we get too far into it, I want to say it was $170, if I'm not mistaken, because we got it at Costco. That's right. Check your Costco's, folks, because you can get this for a lot cheaper. But you'd be hard-pressed to find this anywhere south of $200 in a normal liquor store. Even that includes like your Total Wines and stuff like that, too. Before we get too far into it, what are you expecting?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I forget. Have you had this?
I was going to say, I don't think I've had Blue Label, and the only Johnnie Walker I think is that Black Label.
Yeah, we've had Johnnie Black. That was up here. You can check it out.
Johnnie Walker isn't a brand that I like go out of my way for, so I only drink it if it comes, and you know, this came.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things to where Johnnie Walker is a staple of the Scotch world, without a doubt. I forget the exact, blend of this, but this is a blended Scotch. Like, this is not a single, barrel or a single malt or anything like that. This is a blended Scotch whiskey. Tons of different barrels went into this. I could be wrong. There's two numbers sticking in my head. There is one number that is very reserved, where I want to say it's something like 40 different barrels make up the maturation, and then there's one that says there's like 200 barrels that make up the maturation. I don't know which is which. You have Uncle Google, so why don't you find out and put it in the comments. But nonetheless, let's get into it and see what we think of this guy. 40% ABV, so it's not going to hit you very hard.
I was going to say it smells like a Scotch, but it is a Scotch, huh?
Yes, it is a Scotch. That's why I've been saying blended Scotch. Very delicate nose, though. Like, it's nothing that's too, at least for me, it's nothing that's like, oh my God, there's so much going on here. But the things that are happening are like riding a line of delicacy, in my opinion. What are you getting out of it?
Nothing too crazy, and
like there's no one thing that jumps out.
Yeah. It's a little like, the best I can get is like floral notes.
Like little peaty, like a little earthy, maybe a hint of smoke in it. Maybe a little bit of like, kind of like musty warehouse kind of, like that leather-bound book that we talk about in like Scotches where it smells a little bit older, right? I get a little bit of that note out of this. And maybe if I work a little hard, I get some fruit. Like maybe like a little lemon peel. But you've had a sip, so you go ahead and tell me what you think.
So it's interesting because I definitely get peat out of it when I sip it. but it's probably like the absolute smoothest peat I've ever had. Like, it's so settling. It's just, you get the peat and then it's like riding down nice and slow. It's very interesting.
It's got character. It definitely does. Like, time and effort goes into making Johnnie Walker Blue. I would never say otherwise, right? Because I think to say otherwise is to say something along the lines of like Maker's Mark sucks or Jameson sucks. Like, no, they don't. They're just the big brands that everybody for some reason thinks are bad. And I think that people might say the same thing about Johnnie Walker Blue if, you know, you're a bit of a snob about it. For me, like, you're right. Like, that peat is really, really delicate. It's not overwhelming. Like, if you are not used to a little bit of smoke or a little bit of earthy notes, this isn't going to blow you up, in my opinion. And it's 40% alcohol, so it's not going to punch you in the face either. There's a little bit of like a pepper spice on the back end palate for me. And like I said, that lemon peel note kind of just ties everything together for me. Now, maybe that's just where I'm at in the day. Maybe that's where I'm at after the warm-up drams we've had, after the food I've eaten, all those different kinds of things. And I'm not trying to like go out of my way to be like, is this a good bottle or anything like that? But again, it's a status bottle. When people first get into whiskey, they're like, I want to get a bottle of Johnnie Walker Blue. And the reality is, should you want to go get a bottle of Johnnie Walker Blue, or are there 5, 6 other bottles you could pick up for around the same price point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean 5 or 6 bottles to equal that price point, folks. So you just put water on it. What are you thinking so far?
Let's see. I haven't hit it yet. Just a little mixing it. But
40%. So it's, we'll see. You know what I mean? I don't think I've ever put water on this. One thing that I want to say about this, folks, for the people who are like, but I still want to try it and I've never had it. Just because you may not be able to fork over the $200 plus price tag, check your mini section. Go to an actual liquor store, because you can find a little 50 ml of this for like 25 bucks. And if it's one of those things where you're like, I need to try it, go do that, because a pour of this at a bar, it ain't gonna be worth it. They're gonna charge you like 50 plus.
Oh, yeah.
So go get you a 50 ml and enjoy it. Spend some time with it if you're actually really dead set, got your heart on it.
So with the water, I think it just made the flavor last a little longer.
Oh, interesting. It lengthened it.
Lengthened the peat, where first is a peat and then it's like goes away nice and smooth. This kind of has it lingering a little bit as it's still going away, or at least to me.
I don't disagree with that. The finish on it, it goes for a decent amount of time, neat. So I'm curious to see what the water does it, but you're right. It kind of, like, you know, when we've had like Ardbegs and stuff like that, where it's like you feel that smoke in your throat. Yeah. Same kind of concept, but not nearly as potent. It's just kind of like walking into a room where somebody vaped about 10 minutes ago. Yeah. But I will say the water does bring out a little bit more of like the traditional kind of scotchy notes for me, where you get a little bit of that malty bread. Again, I'm getting a little bit more of that fruity note with the lemon peel. But that malty bread finally came through with the water. So for me, the water kind of helps this. Like, it lengthens out the dram, like you said, which is always a nice thing, because usually at 40%, I'm worried water is going to kill it. But like I said, because it brought out a little bit more flavor, that's actually a plus in my book. What do you if you had to score it, what are you thinking?
To be honest, as far as my palate goes, I'll probably go 2.5. 2.5, just because peat isn't really big category for me, and also it was just kind of like a hint of flavor. But as far as smoothness, it's up there for sure. If I had a rate on smoothness alone, I'd probably give it a 4.05. But with the flavor and the smoothness, like, the flavor is not really my jam, so I'm gonna go with the 2.5.
So let's say you had the money to spare, right? What are, let's just say, 3 bottles you'd buy over this, like, that would equal this price point that you've bought in our whiskey journey of over 2.5 years?
I mean, that's peat as well?
No, just in general. Like, this is a good bottle, right? I think we'd agree with that. Yeah. But what are other bottles you would say, hey, just because I was not like, you know, hey, I'm ready to freaking rob a bank for this one, but what are some other ones where you'd say, I'd try this versus this one?
I mean, what's it called? Highland Park 18.
Yeah. That's like 140.
Yeah.
Highland Park 160 18. Now. I was at a store the other day and I saw it.
and a Blanton too.
Yeah.
And a Blanton at regular price. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, so that's not a bad shout. I mean, you got a $140, $160 bottle, and if you could find Blantons on the shelf at retail, call it 60. That's $200. That's 2 bottles for the price of one. So you would do 2.5, right?
Yeah.
I think for me, I'm gonna go a little bit higher because I do think it's a respectable bottle, and I do think if you're trying to, I guess, go after being an enthusiast, kind of like what we are, right? It's something that you should try. It's something that is not going to be a bad thing to have on your bar. It's something that I'll tell you is fun when you get people who are, you know, really starting to develop their palate and really getting into different whiskeys and wanting to try different things. You put this in a blind and see how it fares. Yeah. I've done it. You know who I'm talking about, person watching on the end of this video. And it's very interesting to see how this guy does. For me, I'm going to go 3.5. So I'm going to go a little bit higher than you because, again, I do think it's respectable. I do think a lot of it comes from that status element. Like, you know, I remember MTV Cribs, everybody had a picture of Al Pacino's Scarface when you walked in, and everybody had a bottle of Johnnie Walker Blue. So it's one of those things. I think that there are definitely bottles that I would buy before it. I wouldn't run out and replace this, but if I could get it on special during the holidays, like 140-ish, I would probably pull the trigger when this guy's empty. But it's a 3.5 from me. It's a 2.5 from Caesar. But do us a favor. Hit us up in the comments. What do you think of Johnnie Walker Blue? Have you had the Johnnie Walker Blue? And what's it going for in your area? Because I'm genuinely curious. And if there's another Johnnie Walker you think we should review, because we've done the 12 and now we've done the blue, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your feedback. Nonetheless, everybody hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We love interacting with you guys there. Until next time, Caesar, you got anything else you want to add?
Oh, crap.
He wants to add grabbing the whistle. So I'll just go ahead and blow my whistle, baby. Stay safe, drink well, all aboard. Catch you next time. Hey, everybody. Hope you liked that video.
Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications.
And don't forget to subscribe.